If there's one question that you would want me to ask you, what would that question be?
The question I'd like you to ask me is, what can the industry do to improve? And one of the things I've been trying to advocate for a lot recently is if we could shift our communication tone to folks who aren't already in the industry yet, away from the scary things that might make Bitcoin a good investment, like macroeconomic collapse or uncertainty with different fiat currency regimes, and into things that are more positive and also more relatable.
Give me an example of that, because we tell the story and educate people in so many different ways. We're like, what's a real life example of you dealing with that scenario?
So my uncle in Texas, who's a lawyer,
Sure.
He asked me, what my company does, and I tell him it works with Bitcoin, and he says, well, what is Bitcoin? Like, I hear it's used for illicit activities. Maybe he read something about how he needed to buy Bitcoin because the dollar was going to collapse, or somebody told him that at some point. And he doesn't like any of those things. He doesn't like illicit activities, and he doesn't like thinking about the dollar collapsing.
Sure.
The points that I try to touch on are that this is a venture capital, highly volatile but high risk, high return type investment profile asset. So it's not something that you should take your money out of, treasuries or your savings account, or maybe even your retirement account, and put all of your money into Bitcoin. But it is something that you should have exposure to. Bitcoin by design is accessible by anyone with an internet connection. So this really is something that has the ability to have a positive global societal impact in terms of people being able to, one, use something that's a better option than what they currently have access to, and then two, move that around the world. And it's a venture capital type investment. And then my uncle goes, okay, yeah, I like all of those things. Yeah, so the dollar doesn't have to collapse, and the economy doesn't have to burn down for this asset to be worth something. But I like those other positive things that you just talked about.
That makes a lot of sense. The utility aspect is actually a really important thing to highlight, not just the store value perspective.
Yeah, and then I usually end with, because at BlockFi we do this, you can earn a better interest rate on your Bitcoin on our platform than you can earn, at your savings account at the bank.